Call to order the October 2017 legislative meeting of Media Borough Council. Please stand and join me in the salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment. It seems like it's been such a long time ago since the events of Las Vegas, the many victims of gun violence there, but it's been since our last meeting, and we've not had the opportunity to stand and recognize what has happened and to steel ourselves for the fights ahead and see if we can change the way things are in our country. So please, a moment of silence. Thank you. First, housekeeping matters. We have 3 sets of meeting minutes, and see if we can get those approved. We have our workshop meeting minutes of September 7th. Do I hear a motion to approve those as submitted?
So moved.
Second. There is. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the workshop meeting minutes for September 2017 as submitted, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Those opposed? The motion passes. We also had our regular legislative meeting this past month, and we have a set of meeting minutes that have been submitted. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll take that as a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the council meeting minutes for September 20, 2017, 21, I think it is. I'm having a hard time reading. Please say aye.
Yes.
Aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. We also had a special meeting a couple of days thereafter, and we have a set of meeting minutes for those as well. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approving the special meeting minutes, please say aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes. All right, the first item, a slight change from our normal order. We have a presentation of awards, and Vice President Robinson is going to be the recipient on behalf of the borough. No, for the borough.
My name is Rebecca Ross, and I'm here tonight as a representative of the American Planning Association Pennsylvania chapter. I'm a member of the Council of the Southeast Section Council. And tonight, media, I'm honored to present Media Borough with a Great Places in Pennsylvania Award for Great Street in recognition of State Street. I just have a few words I'd like to say. Great places are unique, memorable places that work not only for their community, but as a model that others want to emulate. Places of exemplary character, quality, planning, identity, cultural interest, and community involvement with a sustainable vision for tomorrow. And I'm not sure if everybody knows, but Media Borough previously in 2015 won an award from the Great Places in Pennsylvania program as a great neighborhood. So now we're pleased to add State Street to that recognition. In awarding State Street this honor, I wanted to read a couple of the comments from the judges who had these nice things to say. State Street is a quintessential traditional Main Street. It features the iconic Route 101 in-street trolley line, is extremely walkable, has bicycle racks at several locations, and hosts a large number of events throughout the year. It has a wide variety of uses and celebrates its designation as the nation's first fair trade city. The courthouse, administration buildings, and associated uses are located 2 blocks from State Street, and Delaware County residents refer to it not always as State Street, but rather Main Street Media. There are lots of activities, it's a gathering place for many events, and good connections. It's a thriving Main Street, which is not often found anymore, and finally, it's a very healthy Main Street in a very healthy small town, one of the best in Pennsylvania. So, for these reasons, it's my honor to present to you this plaque to Media Borough Council to commemorate State Street as a great street in the American Planning Association Pennsylvania chapter's Great Places in Pennsylvania program. And there are also some window stickers that you can provide to businesses. As I said, I know you received some the last round, but if any additional businesses want them, I'll leave them with you.
Perfect, thank you.
On behalf of the borough, its residents, its businesses, we want to say thank you very much. We're truly honored to have this. There is not a better street than State Street, so thank you.
Thank you.
Rebecca, do you have anything else for us?
I do. I have something else once I finish talking. Now, putting on my hat as a planner for Delaware County Planning Department, I want to talk briefly about a program that we worked on with the borough. You may have seen signs up around the borough, little directional arrows, and a couple of signs with maps. And the information about the Walkworks program was recently shared on the borough's Facebook page. So I want to tell you a little bit about Walkworks. To increase opportunities for physical activity, the Pennsylvania Department of Health has partnered with the University of Pittsburgh Graduate School for Public Health, Center for Public Health Practice, to create a network of fun, fact-filled, community-based walking routes and walking groups. Walkworks identifies and promotes safe walking routes, offers social support through guided community-based walking groups, helps schools develop walk-to-school programs, and addresses local policies to increase safe walking routes. In Delaware County, Walkworks is run through the Department of Intercommunity Health with assistance from the Planning Department. 3 routes have been established in the county, including one right here in Media. So I have left some information over here on the bench, and I will leave additional information with the borough. Check out the signs, check out the Delaware County's Intercommunity Health page on the county website for more information, and we encourage people to use the route and to in fact sign up to be walking group leaders to encourage themselves and their neighbors to get out and move. So that's it.
Thank you, Rebecca. There's a water fountain directly outside the door.
Of course now it's stopped.
Yeah, you're getting in touch with your inner Theresa May. All right, thank you very much. So now let's move to our standard public comment and privilege of the floor. Is there anyone here who wishes to address council at this time? Please, if you do wish to do so, come to the microphone, tell us who you are, where you live. Seeing no takers this evening, we'll move along then to our the reports of our professional staff. Mr. Mattson, Borough Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just one thing I'd really like to touch on tonight is there's a potential grant opportunity which is open until November 9th. This is something from PennDOT called the Great Light Go application. I had the opportunity to take a look at the traffic signals for the borough, and there are some improvements I would recommend. I did coordinate with Higgins, our signal contractor. This is a wonderful grant because it's a 80-20 match. So the borough is paying 20 cents on the dollar for any money that it wins. In my opinion, these improvements that we're recommending for these signals are necessary. Be some battery backups, be some emergency generator plug, and some cameras instead of the detectable loops that we have out there right now, which are problematic because they keep getting torn up during construction, which we've had a lot of. So that would be my recommendation. So I'd like the Borough Council to consider moving forward with this one. Again, I'll be working with Borough Manager and with Karen to finalize numbers and terms, but I think it's a great opportunity, and it's certainly very winnable for the borough. It'd be nice.
Are you looking for some action from us tonight?
I don't think so tonight. I have a range of numbers of what I think would be a potential grant total, somewhere between 102 and 162,000. Again, the borough will be responsible for 20% of that, so somewhere between 20,000 and 32,000. So it would be something that we consider before the 9th of November. But I don't need a resolution from the council, just want to bring it to your attention.
Okay.
You don't need a resolution to submit the grant at all? Okay.
But we would encourage you to move forward with the grant, because it sounds like it's a great idea, especially in 80-20.
I think there are a couple of the signals in town that have battery backup, some that have a generator. But it's frustrating when you're out in the field during a wet weather event or some power outages we had in June. And there are several signals that are down. It taxes the police. It's just difficult for traffic to move through the busy corridors. So if we can get battery backups on them, it'd be a very nice improvement.
Thank you, Mr. Mattson. Do you have anything else to report on this evening?
That's all I have.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Mattson? Hearing none, we'll move along to our solicitor, Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do not have anything to report this evening.
Does anyone have any question for Mr. Scott at this time? Mr. Mayor, your turn.
Thank you. During the month of September, we had 749 complaints. Enclosed is the crime log for anyone that would like to go through it. The department has been conducting traffic enforcement details throughout the borough and issuing a significant number of motor vehicle violations. And of course, never hesitate to call 911. I have two proclamations and no one here to receive them, so I'm just going to read the highlights of them, if that's okay. Whereas this is Red Ribbon Week, whereas school and other drug abuse, alcohol and other drug abuse has reached epidemic proportions and is a major concern to all Americans, with the American people indicating that alcohol and other drug abuse is among the most serious domestic problems facing the nation. And whereas alcohol and other drug abuse is a major public health threat and is one of the largest causes of preventable diseases, disabilities, and death in the United States. Whereas such efforts include participation in the National Red Ribbon, it's hard to say, campaign, a comprehensive public education and community-based prevention event involving the townships and boroughs, schools, parent groups, churches, government, businesses, and persons from all walks of life, is demonstrating their commitment to a drug-free, healthy lifestyle by wearing and displaying red ribbons as a symbol of their commitment. And therefore be it resolved on the week of October 23 through 31 to be Red Ribbon Week. This is a proclamation to Nativity BBM on their 150th anniversary. I think I went to the first mass there. Whereas in 1968, Father Henry Wright became the first pastor of Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary in media, and whereas in 1881, Father Wright announced his intention to construct a new church at the corner of Monroe and Franklin Streets, whereas the cornerstone was laid on June 19, 1881. And whereas from these simple beginnings, Nativity BBM has developed into a parish that supports the parishioners and community and those in need. And I'll be presenting this, I think it's on December 7th, Jeff, to them. Veterans Day Parade is going to be here, I guess, in about 3 weeks. So our Grand Marshal of this year's Veterans Parade is a lady named Maureen Robinson, who has lived her whole life in Chester, Pennsylvania. Maureen was a nurse in Vietnam. She served her first tour in 1968. She went back again in 1970. Nurses in Vietnam treated everybody. They didn't care if you were American, Vietnamese, Viet Cong, or who you were. If you were wounded, they were going to treat you. One day, a 3-year-old came to her to be treated, named Vin Jin was his name. And 7 months later, she adopted him. His name is Mark. He's now 50 years old. He owns 2 restaurants in Pittsburgh. He graduated from St. James. He played halfback at St. James. That's not halfback anymore, running back. Running back at St. James. He was a Mountain Yard youngster. The Mountain Yards were our greatest allies. They had 40,000 that fought with us in Vietnam. 20,000 were killed. They used to do the hard work. There were 7 million at that point. There are 700,000 today. It was a pure genocide from 1975 on, and is still going on to this day. So we'll probably bring a little bit of awareness to their situation. There's still a bunch of them trying to get out, and they live on the corner of Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, where all 3 don't particularly care for them. So Maureen will be the Grand Marshal along with Mark, and she'll have some remarks to make. So Izzy's now on a parade committee. Is this a surprise to you, or did I tell you about this?
No, you told me.
Okay. So the parade is on November 10th, not the 11th, because we don't have a parade on the weekend because we can't get the bands. So it'll be on November 10th, starting at 11:11, and Bob Diamond will be there. Even though he can't see us on TV anymore where he's living, but and he would have been here to say this tonight, but he's just moving into his new place. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Does anyone have any questions for the mayor at this time? Hearing none, we'll move along then to the council and committee reports. We have Recreation and Board of Health. That's Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a brief announcement from Board of Health. One of the members, Michael Madden, is exploring the possibility of holding mindfulness classes, which is kind of a new movement involving things like meditation and possibly cooperating with REC to schedule it. So stay tuned for some upcoming events with that. REC for the first time, as I mentioned I think last time, was exploring the possibility of getting tickets for the Sixers game, and they ordered some. They only got 20 this time. They weren't sure how they were going to work out, so you could contact Paula to see if there are still any available. That would be for Friday, January the 5th, and it would be Sixers against Detroit. The tickets would be $30. Terry, did you manage to get a ticket?
We're on the list.
You're on the list, okay.
Friday.
January the 5th, Friday, January the 5th, against Detroit. Again, they weren't sure how much interest there'd be, but apparently there is interest, so maybe in the future they'll be able to schedule another event. October is the Halloween extravaganza that REC puts on. That will be Saturday, October 28th from 11:30 to 1:30. That is before the Halloween parade, so come out to the community center. Candy, hot dogs, costume contest as usual, so that's always a great event. The senior luncheon is Saturday, November 11th from 12 to 3. This is for Borough residents that are ages 55 and over, and will be at Spasso, so you've got to call Paula to reserve ahead of time. Space is limited, so if you're planning to do that, call Paula sooner rather than later. And then finally, at the end of November, there will be the, I guess, third annual Winter Wonderland, November 26th. That is a Sunday from 1 till 3. That is before the fun run and the parade, and that will also be at the community center. Santa will be there with gifts for the kids, so come out and see that. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Councilman Boyd?
Just to comment, Kevin, just want to let you know that with regards to the Halloween parade, I did contact Granite Run Buick, and they are going to be nice enough to supply vehicles for the Pencrest High School kids who are going to be
Fantastic. I was hoping
the
that
Grand Marshal. So that's all set up. Ryan Irish, who's the, I guess, managing partner of the firm, said he'd be very excited, and was very excited and proud of the whole idea of recognizing these individuals that did such a great job.
That's great.
So that's cool. That's at 2 o'clock. So.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Are there any other questions for Councilman Boyd? All right, we'll move along to Historic Archive and Reboard, Media, Business Authority, and Historic. Councilwoman Lisa Johnson.
Thank you. I have nothing to report for the HARB or the Historic Society, but one issue with the MBA, there's a person that has voiced interest in becoming a member of the board for the MBA, and the board right now has 5 vacancies. There's 10 people on the board, or they can have up to 15. So there's 5 vacancies, so the board members are excited to have a new person on board to bring new, fresh ideas and help the MBA make more progress. So I move to approve the resolution 2017-35 as the appointment of Perry Ann Evanson to the Media Board, or Media Business Authority. Term expires on 12/31/19.
I'll second that.
Motion made, it has been seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the resolution to appoint Perry Ann Evanson to the Media Business Authority for a term that expires the last day of 2019, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion passes.
And that's all I have.
Are there any questions for Councilman Lisa Johnson? Hearing none, we'll move along to Properties, Public Works, and Fire. Councilman Vice President, Mr. Robinson.
As I always do, I'm encouraging all the residents and people of the media community who would be interested in volunteering to serve with our media fire company. Either as a firefighter or the administrative position. Been brought up numerous times. They need help. The department it could always use more firefighters and administrative staff. So if anybody would be interested, that would be fantastic. Just get a hold of the chief at the firehouse and he'd be able to help you out. Another little announcement, Media Fellowship House has been conducting a series of seminars called Art Speaks. And on October 25th at 6:30 at Media Fellowship House, which is at 301 South Jackson Street. This is North Jackson Street here. Starting at 6:30, this will be presentation, believe it or not, on prohibition. So anyone who would be interested in coming down, it starts at 6:30. With regards to legislative issues on my agenda, first is I'd like to make a motion that we authorize the sale of public works equipment and a police vehicle. These will be done on Municipid, which is an online auction. We are going to be putting on auction 350 streetlights that are not LED because we replaced ours with LED. We're initially having an asking price of $25 per. Also on the list is a generator that we did use here at Borough Hall for the last 20 years. Really was not adequate for the size of this facility, so we purchased a new one this year. And last on the list is a 2005 Ford Explorer that was a police car, then used as an undercover police car. I am comfortable in saying that we would need some work on it. So they'll be going out on Municipid, so I make a motion that we authorize the sale of those items on Municipid.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
There is. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of authorizing the sale of the items as outlined by Councilman Robinson on Municipid, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. And all of these are in extraordinary working order.
We've got a lot of streetlights. They were working 6 months ago until we got the LED up. So there will be some community someplace that will be very happy to have these. Next is Resolution 2017-36. This is really a housekeeping matter. Basically getting rid of some old records. This is required under Pennsylvania law, and it is a variety of grant administrator records and police records. We have to keep some of these for up to a period of 7 years. Some of the police reports we have to keep up to 20 years. All these have been reviewed and have been deemed that they are able to be destroyed, so I make a motion we approve Resolution 2017-36.
Second.
There is a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting Resolution 2017-36 with regard to disposition of certain Borough and Police Department records, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
And last on my agenda is a service agreement for our new generator that we have at the Borough. And I make a motion that we enter into a service agreement with Emergency Systems Service Company of Quakertown. The annual fee for the inspection and maintenance is, with tax included, $1,584.70. I make that in the form of a motion.
Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
There is. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of entering into service agreement with the Electronic Systems Services Company for the amount specified by Vice President Robinson with regard to the Borough generator, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
That concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Councilman Robinson? Hearing none, that we now turn to my portion of the agenda. There's one item on my agenda. It's with regard to some sidewalk in the borough. You might wonder why it is we're talking about sidewalks. We normally do not. That's usually handled at the administrative levels, but this particular sidewalk is made of brick, and brick sidewalks are treated differently in the borough. The borough years ago made a policy decision that we like brick sidewalks and we like to keep brick sidewalks. So if anybody who has a brick sidewalk wishes to make changes to their brick sidewalk, they need to get council approval first, and that's what the motion is about tonight. The property is on Front Street in between Orange Street and Veterans Square, directly across from the courthouse. There's a series of 3 buildings. The numbers on the buildings are 208 through 216. And the property owner there is concerned that the bricks in front of those properties are in need of some care, that they might pose a tripping hazard in the future, and he would like to remedy that. The remedy that he would like is to take out the existing brick sidewalks and replace them with colored stamped concrete that looks like brick sidewalks. If you're familiar with the bricks, the sidewalks out front of the library now, they look like bricks for all the world. They're actually not. It's a stamped colored concrete. The advantage of concrete is that it's more durable, it's less likely to heave up, it's less likely to pose a tripping hazard to pedestrians. And those are good things. In addition, the owner would like to incorporate a heating element to that stretch of walkway so that it more readily sheds snow during the winter time. Believe it or not, there will be a winter this year. Whether it snows, I don't know, but occasionally it does snow here and it does accumulate. So I'm going to make the motion tonight that we approve the replacement of the brick sidewalk in front of 208 through 216 East Front Street with stamped colored concrete as requested by the owner.
Motion is made. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion with regards to the motion? All those in favor of approving the removal of the brick sidewalk at 208-216 East Front Street, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
That's it for legislative items. I do have a few things announcements I'd like to make. First of which is not particular to my portion of the agenda, but believe it or not, in a couple of weeks we will have an election. And it'll be both a local as well as a county, statewide election. It'll be kind of late in November this year, November 7th. So please come out, exercise your right to vote. There are many who have given much so that we have the right to vote for our governance. Also, next Tuesday, in this room or across the hallway, if we need the additional space, we will have the continuation of our discussion with Tom Committa, our town planner, about development along Baltimore Avenue. So if you're interested in the subject matter, please come out. It's 7 p.m. next Tuesday, right here or across the hallway. Should last about an hour and a half. Last item, it's just an invitation. For those of you who have not yet seen it, there is a pocket park being built across the street from the new Tiny Teas. Coming out, take a look at it. It's slowly but steadily being put into place. And we hope that before the cold weather comes in, we'll have plantings in and it will be a fine addition to the borough. So please be there to welcome it. That's my agenda.
Are there any questions for the president? Gavel's back to you.
Thank you. We'll move along then to Library, Finance, and Public Safety. Councilman Williamson.
To start out with some library announcements, this is a big weekend for the library. It's their annual book sale, the fall version of it. As you know now, it's in the basement of the library. They have a record number of items this year. Used to be they might have 30,000 items. This time they had 40. Prices are great. It's one of their best and most important fundraisers. We have a brand spanking new building, so please come out and support the library. It's from Saturday at 10 o'clock till 5, and then Sunday and Monday as well. Hard on that, on the 24th, on Tuesday from 5 to 6:30, is something I had to look up, Purple Pinky Day. Actually, it's about polio. Believe it or not, polio still exists in the world. And the Gates Foundation, in its wisdom, has taken it on as an issue it would like to eradicate. And anybody that goes to Purple Pinky Day at the library from 5 to 6:30 on Tuesday and contributes something after listening to the program about the issue of polio will have that contribution doubled. It's a 2-to-1 match by the Gates Foundation, so I encourage you to go. On to more mundane matters, the finance. The regular budget, as I like to report every month, is in good shape. Our revenues have been staying ahead of projection and our expenses below. This is a month, however, in which we pay some big checks, principally to our pensions, so the revenue side will start to inch up this month, but I'm still confident that we'll end the year with some small surplus, which is always a good thing. The budget process for next year is underway. The Finance Committee spent 2 long evenings this week listening to department heads and community organizations making their pitches for the things they would like to have this year. It's all very exciting, and we hope to accommodate as much of it as we possibly can in next year's budget. We should have a draft of that budget for this series of November meetings, which will then finalize in December. Payment of bills. I'd like to ratify the payment of bills from September. From the general fund, we drew $476,579.87. From the recreation fund, $2,786.36. And from the capital fund, $193,820.13. I move approval.
Is there a second? There is. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of paying the borough's bills for the month of September 2017 from the general, recreation, and capital funds as specified by Councilman Williamson, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes.
A resolution. I guess because I spearheaded it, I have the happy occasion to ask for the approval of a resolution setting up a steering committee for the new public property that's to be a park at the corner of 5th and Broomall in northwestern Media. We asked for volunteers for this steering committee, and we got many very, very qualified ones. So instead of trying to decide and pick, we're just asking all of them to participate. So I'm going to read their names, and I won't read the full resolution. But those of you that, if you happen to be listening tonight, we hope to have our first meeting on Monday, November 6th at 7 p.m. However, Mr. Smith will be sending out a letter notifying you more formally. The folks are Paul Cavanaugh, Amber DeBella, Jerry Duffy, Jack Greening, John Neasley, Kevin Myers, Alexa Laborda Nelson, William Pierce, Sylvia Ramos, and Colleen Ryan Summer. So I make this in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? All right then, all those in favor of adopting Resolution 2017-37, which appoints a steering committee for the 5th and Broomall, development of the 5th and Broomall property, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Motion passes.
My third and final item is a renewal agreement for participation in the Delaware County Health Insurance Trust. This is our insurance carrier. We're ably served by Gallagher Benefits Company, which is located right here in Media. And they are the sponsors or the organizers of this health insurance trust with a score of maybe 30 other municipalities in the county. And it's not going up this year. 0% increase. So we need to move approval for another year's participation, so I make that in the form of a motion.
Second?
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
Hard to believe, right?
It is. We got to vote on this before something changes. All those in favor of entering into the renewal agreement with the Delaware County Health Insurance Trust, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. The motion passes.
That concludes my report.
Are there any questions for Councilman Williamson?
Just want to have a comment, Peter. Just last week, I was contacted by Pennsylvania Municipal League, the National League of Cities. They're trying to put together a group of people that will be going to Washington at the end of the month to discuss SALT, which is the state and local tax, removing it from the ability for residents to deduct that from their federal income tax or their federal tax returns. Reached out to the mayor and I can't make it, but however, we are receiving information from National League of Cities, and the mayor and I are committed to meeting with our senators and our congressmen to encourage them not to remove this type of deduction. We in Media Borough are extremely fortunate. It's not that significant, but it's a slippery slope that we're hoping to stop if we can. So,
Great, Paul. That's excellent.
just a little FYI. Thank you.
All right, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, move along to Fair Trade, Shade, Environmental Advisory Council, and Farmers Market. Councilwoman Amy Johnson.
Thank you. Just two items under EAC. First on the agenda is just a simple resolution recommended by EAC requesting that U.S. Congress take action on climate change. The borough is invited to join on this effort because of its reputation as an environmental leader. So I I'd like to make I'm asking council to approve resolution number 2017-38 on climate change.
Second that motion.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving adopting resolution 2017-38 with regard to encouraging our congressmen and women to do something positive about climate change, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Motion passes.
Thanks. And then just one other announcement, in a collaboration of Nether Providence Township and the Borough is hosting another Shred E-Waste event on November 18th from 9 to 1. It'll be in the Acme parking lot again. This is an opportunity for you to recycle electronics and also shred any documents. Yeah, so basically anything with a plug can be recycled, and that anything with a plug will be free. Old TVs and monitors, there will be a $30 fee. So yeah, take advantage of this event, which just seems to be an annual event being held twice a year, which is great. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions for Councilwoman Amy Johnson? Hearing none, we'll move along to Public Relations and Historical Archives. Councilwoman Sarah Dixon.
I'm sorry, I was getting important information.
All right.
Okay, so nothing to discuss with publicity. And when it comes to the archives, everybody's doing what they can to help with research. And Adam, as we said before, is doing all kinds of things. One of the things that they have discussed and looking forward to doing is going after a grant for the genealogy of buildings, because we've got some very historic buildings here in Media. And they also want to put the archives on the borough's webpage. And then they've got some interesting artifacts that we discussed having them displayed and maybe changing this display regularly. It's a lot of things like that between Adam and Walt Crester, for sure. They're coming up with new approaches, different approaches to making our archives open to all of our citizens. Okay, that's it.
All right, are there any questions for Councilwoman Dixon?
Little thing for you, I thought you might enjoy is last week we had our Walk of Fame, and one of the inductees was Eleanor Cadman,
Yes.
who was a teacher at Media Elementary for decades. But what I was not aware of is that she was the founder and starter of the Mitchell House. And which I was not aware of is the Mitchell House was originally going to be torn down and be part of the townhomes that are currently there on Holden Street. And if anyone knew Eleanor Cadman, she could be a feisty individual. And she started the fight and made sure that that house was not torn down, and was also the one that started the foundation that we now, the borough, has taken under our wing. So I thought that was fascinating. She's done a tremendous amount of things, but I was not aware of it. That was one of the other areas that she took on and made sure that it was kept. So it was a good time last week.
Yeah, she was quite the lady too. Really terrific. She also, we had some of her dolls. She also did storytellings with
Yes.
dolls, the history. She's fantastic.
Are there any other comments or questions? Just one comment. I was pleased to hear that it appears as if the roof leaking problem at the library appears to have been addressed and taken care of. For quite some time, there was some concern about leakage, and no one knew quite where the leak was, but it appears as if we now have a handle on that, and that's a good thing. All right, we now have public comment and privilege of the floor. If anybody wishes to address council at this time, please come to the microphone, identify who you are and where you live. All right, then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh.
Is it seconded? Second. It's been seconded. Thank you, folks. Before we go, please remember that Halloween is coming up, and we have an awful lot of kids who come out for Halloween. Many from our neighborhoods, some from outside our neighborhoods. They're all welcome so far as I'm concerned. But on that evening, please be cautious if you're out driving, because there are plenty of kids that sometimes they don't obey the traffic laws. And we'd like everyone to come out of Halloween safely. So good night, and we'll see you next month.